money back. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 7 upsets to bet. No one hits more than us. Another week, another upset. Let's get to the games. First game, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Falcons plus 2.5. Listen, I have to throw some cold water on this one. I see the comment sections bustling with Bucs, and they were bustling with Bucs plus 3 last week against the Lions. I'm going to caution you guys again. I know the Buccaneers have a great defense, and I understand Desmond Ridder is an absolute turnover machine, and if you gave me Baker or Ridder, I would obviously ride with Baker, but we have to look at this Tampa Bay offense and understand that they have no rhythm. At the very worst, at least the Falcons put up damn near 400 against a pretty good Commanders defense. What did the Bucs offense do last week? What did the Bucs offense do the 3 weeks before? It does feel like they're stalling out. It does feel like they're out of ideas. And I know you got Mike Evans, you got Godwin, you got a bunch of dogs on the outside to throw it to, but this Bucs offensive line is a damn liability. They can't run block. They can't pass block. Baker's banged up. I'm just not seeing how they get their big plays, and I think Atlanta has more of an avenue to big plays. Now, I know the Bucs defense is very good against the run, but we saw the Eagles pound them, and when you got guys like Bijan Robinson, Cordero Patterson, we need to see more of Cordero Patterson in the game plan. I think the Falcons are able to make more chunk plays, and I think Arthur Smith needs to redeem himself. The Falcons lost that game last week because of Arthur Smith. I believe he has the talent, and I believe they have the will to go into Tampa and pull this upset. It is a big upset. I know it's only 2.5 plus 3, but everyone is on the Bucs, and it's time for Arthur Smith to show who he really is. Falcons winning the cover on the damn road. Fade the public. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. Lions plus 3. Here we are again. Here we are again. For the last 2 years, I'm sitting here looking like a crazy guy picking the Lions in an upset video. People say I'm wrong, and then they go out and they win by 10 points. Listen, this is a big challenge, and I am not underestimating this Ravens team. The Ravens are full health finally, and we know the Ravens have Lamar Jackson, and I do think this is going to be a close, gritty game. Kind of like the Bucs-Falcons game. I don't think there's going to be 2 teams in the 30s in this game. I think one big chunk play can decide it. We got 15 to 20 mile per hour winds looking like it's going to hit Baltimore in this Ravens-Lions game. But when it comes down to grit, when it comes down to doing the little things to win a game, I have to side with the Lions. Now, Montgomery hurt, but you get Gibbs back. You get Branch back on the defensive side. And we saw what an impact Jameson Williams was with the deep ball last week. And I told you guys last week, this kid can play. This kid is an unquantifiable player at this point. And I do think this Ravens defense is more vulnerable than people say. And I know the stats look good. And, you know, you beat up on a third-string Browns quarterback and the stats start looking great. You hit Ryan Tannehill a few times. And I understand the stats look good, but they're playing Goff. They're playing the best offensive coordinator in this league in Ben Johnson. And I think the difference in this game is turnovers. And I've been telling you guys all year about the Ravens. There's way too many turnovers, whether it be the 6-7 fumbles by Lamar Jackson or whether it be the interception he threw last week. This team just hasn't been the clean-cut outfit you would think, and that's how they ended up losing a game they dominated against the Steelers. Lions will hang around here. It's not going to be pretty. If you're a Lions bettor, you're going to be sweating like a meth addict. I get it. But in the end, they would prevail, and I like Dan Campbell in this coaching battle. I love the way he's managing games. Did you guys see the way he managed that Bucs game? We had a big bet on Patreon. We almost didn't sweat because of that, man. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Dolphins +2. I'm pretty sure I'm doing a separate video on this game. For a game of this magnitude and of this altitude, I feel like it needs a separate video. But I understand why everyone thinks the Eagles are going to win. Vic Fangio defenses just don't stop the run. The Dolphins defense hasn't stopped the run all year. You do get a little bit worried about that. You do get a little bit worried about the Eagles' exquisite pass rush. The rookie Jalen Carter is just adding flames to the fire. But I don't think Tua's been hit all that much this year. And I think if the Dolphins get up this game, I don't think there's any way they lose the damn game. They're great with playing with the lead. And they've been great with protecting Tua now. And you don't got any Teron Armstead. And I'm sure that's going to hurt. But I think we see a different type of Dolphins game plan. I think we see something that will shock the world. Lots of quick passing. And I just have to say, this Eagles secondary is vulnerable. They are very, very vulnerable. And I want to side with Hurts coming off a loss. I felt like this Eagles team almost needed a loss, as crazy as that sounds, to wake them up. They were just sleepwalking through the whole season, and now they're going to get woken up. They better be waking up. They better bring their B+A game against the Miami Dolphins on primetime, or they're going to get slaughtered. Next game, I got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers +5.5. Listen, it's upset for a reason. It's an upset video for a reason. Obviously, conventional wisdom, you pick the Chiefs, and Brandon Staley is an absolute disaster. Herbert might have played his sloppiest game as a pro against the Cowboys. I know there wasn't a lot of interceptions or anything like that. But man, the accuracy was terrible for Herbert. But I think this is an Alamo type game for the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think people underestimate Alamo type games in this league when your back's up against the wall, when your season's borderline on the line with one game already in week 7, and I think we see the Chargers respond. And I am worried about this Chiefs team, guys. I am. Kelsey, Mahomes, Andy Reid, and we know all of that is magic. But if you looked at the film from the last 2 games, the Broncos game was terrible, and they probably should have lost to my Minnesota Vikings. I'm just not liking these secondary targets, and if they use Pacheco in the run game more, I'd be fine with it. But we know what Mahomes and Andy Reid are going to do. They're going to throw it 70% of the time. So I think this Chargers defense has a chance to get a lot of stops. I think they get 4 or 5 stops in this game. And I think we see the Chargers have a great game plan on offense. Eckler, another week of him getting healthy. I think we see a big Eckler game in this game. And there's not a lot of science here. I just feel an Alamo type game for the Chargers. I love them with the points, and I would not be surprised if they win this damn game. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers. Hit the like button. At the Denver Broncos. Broncos +1. Listen, speaking of a coach fighting for his job, one thing that not enough people are talking about is Sean Payton could be one and done here. I mean, this Broncos experiment has been an absolute just disaster. There's no other words to say it, and we know how it's going. But I will be a little bit positive about them. The last 2 weeks, the defense has seemed to play better. They've given some of the young players a chance, and at least they're rolling around with verve and energy, so we can at least take a little bit of something off that. And you look at this Packers team, it's a damn struggle for them to get to 17, 20 points. If they didn't have the Packers logo, if Jordan Love didn't look good against the Bears week 1, would any of us think like the Packers would win this game? Would any of us try being positive about the Packers? Did any of you guys watch that Packers-Raiders game? Am I living in an isolated world alone? I just don't think Jordan Love's the guy. Obviously, Russell America Wilson isn't the guy. So let's eliminate those two. They're not going to do fuck all. Now, I think the Broncos can run the ball better than the Packers. And one problem with the Packers the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years has been their run defense and Joe Barry as defensive coordinator. I think the Broncos run it better, and I think the Mile High Home field advantage leaves the Packers a bit gassed in the fourth quarter. Run game takes over. Broncos pulled an upset. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. 4-0 on Patreon last week. Why aren't you on there? Link in the description. $5 a month. Let's get this money. I'm sweating, man. Sweating.